I thought about it, really thought about it, and then dismissed it. I'd look ridiculous. I don't think so. It'd be obvious that I was a man. Oh, for heaven's sake. Why don't we see? His eyes were twinkling and he poured more champagne. You mean? Why not? I have all the gear. It'll be fun. And it'll stop you wallowing. Are you game? I thought for a moment and then shrugged. Okay, let's try it. Looking back, I could see we didn't put much effort into it, or so I thought. Mark made me up, crammed a wig on my head, and I stared miserably at the mirror. No, Mark said slowly, lips pursed for a moment as he thought. It's not there. I'm afraid I'm useless at doing someone else's face, and I only do makeup for the stage. I know, he said, pointing at me, we need a stylist. Mark, I said weakly, taking the blonde Marilyn Monroe wig off and tossing it onto the dressing table. This is not going to work. Hush. We're not giving up after one setback. We. I thought. When did it become we? When did I lose control? You know Belinda Morrison, don't you? Belinda? Yes, of course I know of her. I met her once. She'd been the stylist to several big names, and then she wanted to begin her own business. The actors she had worked with for so long had promised to follow her, but, of course, they didn't. Last I heard, she had a beauty school at Notting Hill and was a little bitter about actors. She's a good friend of mine. Mark picked the phone up, thumbed through his big address book, and punched in a number. Mark was a big man, over 6 foot, which gave his act an extra element of comedy as he was obviously a man, but performing so well as a woman. The exaggerated winks, pouts, and gestures always brought peals of laughter from the audience. Belinda? How are you, darling? It's Mark. He listened for a moment and then turned to me. Go into the bathroom and clean up that face, he said with a smile, and I took the hint. When I came back, he was waiting with his coat on, a bag over his shoulder, and a grin on his face. It's off to Notting Hill, he chanted, bustling out the door. He paused at the doorway. Well, are you coming? But Mark, for goodness sake, have a bit of daring in you, please. It's a bit of fun, that's all. We bundled out of the taxi at Notting Hill, and Mark led the way into the building where Belinda's school was. It occurred to me he seemed to have arranged this all so quickly, but that was typical of Mark. He had once spontaneously decided to get a tattoo after seeing a lead singer of a boy band with one. Nothing wrong with that, except he flew to New York to get it from the same tattooist that the singer had used. Mark and Belinda kissed, and then Belinda stepped back, staring at me, eyes running over me. It's Christopher, isn't it? I think we've met before. She was really examining me, and I felt as if I was under some sort of professional scrutiny. Most women never remembered me, but I remembered her. Belinda was tall and thin, hair dark and cut short, with at least 3 hoop earrings in each earlobe. Yes, that's right. So, you want a full Richard Hawkins? And that little fellow Henri Proffert? I looked at Mark, who winked. I guess so, I said weakly. You guess? Belinda asked sharply. I'm sure. I want to win the audition. She nodded, all businesslike. Okay, this will take a while, she said, looking at us both. We have to be serious here to see if it'll work. We have all night, oh dark one, Mark said with an exaggerated bow and a smile. Belinda rolled her eyes, muttered something under her breath, and focused back on me. Last chance, Chris. Are you committed to this? Or has our lively friend persuaded you against your better nature? I thought back on all the rejections I had endured, the times I had been dismissed without even a word, just a wave and those dreaded words. Thank you. Next. I wanted to do something different. My life was gray and empty. The only friend I had was Mark. I had no girlfriends, my parents were gone, and I had no other living relatives. With a blinding stab of reality, I knew I was lonely and miserable, a failure. He hasn't persuaded me, I said softly, and Mark looked at me quietly with a small smile and a nod. I want to do this. Really? It won't be easy, you know, she added warningly. Let's do it, I said, more bravely than I felt. Belinda let us in and I had a shower, then under her and Mark's instructions I removed all my body hair. I was initially embarrassed by Belinda's presence, but she brusquely dismissed it. Forget it, Chris, she said. Try to think like a girl, Belinda added with a wink, and Mark giggled. Goodness knows I do, Mark said with an exaggerated pout. Belinda disappeared to make some coffee while Mark introduced me to a special garment. This keeps everything well hidden, he explained as I blushingly tried it on. I couldn't live without it, he added dramatically, and I suppressed a giggle. Then came the corset. It was excruciating, but Belinda and Mark showed no mercy. I could hardly breathe as I sat in the chair so Belinda could shampoo, cut, and style my hair. I'm using hair extensions so we can get them out later if this doesn't work, she muttered, working away. Time merged into an endless void. I just flowed along, getting up when she said, moving to a new position and being a piece of clay for her to mold. I was so numb I didn't blink when she placed 2 skin-toned pads into the bra cups of the corset. Blankly I stared down as she arranged them. If this works, we'll get the ones that are more realistic, she said. Mark shrugged. I'm a big boy, dear, and now she's a big girl. He winked, but I continued to sit in a daze, waiting for what came next. Mark sipped champagne, offering glasses to both Belinda and me, then twirled around to music while Belinda patiently worked. She shaped my hair, refined my eyebrows, and applied makeup, including eyelashes. Finally, I slipped into the black dress Mark had magically produced from his bag, along with a pair of shoes that, also magically, fit me. I had struggled with the pantyhose but managed without snagging them, and I stood in the center of the room as Belinda teased my hair out of the rollers and styled it. Clip-on earrings, a necklace, and perfume completed the look. Mark stopped dancing and stared as Belinda stepped back. I stood there nervously, tasting the lipstick on my lips, breathing shallowly because of the corset, and waited. They were both open-mouthed and staring. Glumly, I knew I must look ridiculous. At least, I said, blinking. I tried. What now, I wondered. What do I do now that this was a failure? I realized just how much I had hoped it would work. Did you see that? Belinda asked Mark softly, and he just nodded. Belinda walked slowly around me, hand to her chin as she studied me. It was a rush job, there's so much more to do but... Her voice trailed off. I know, Mark breathed. It's amazing. I mean, I always suspected, but to see it. He suddenly looked at me. What are you two going on about? Can you try a girl's voice? Belinda asked. I had a good ear for accents, so I closed my eyes. After clearing my throat, eyes still closed, I softened my voice and lifted it higher, speaking from the throat and not the chest. How does this sound? I asked, then opened my eyes. They were staring again. Do I sound acceptable? I asked shyly. Belinda cleared her throat. Yes, she said strangely, glancing at Mark. Perfectly acceptable. I saw the looks and stood with my hands on my hips. Will you two tell me what is going on, please? Their eyes widened, then Mark smirked while Belinda stifled a giggle. Oh, Mark laughed. She's a natural. Belinda and Mark each took one of my arms and steered me to the mirror where I could see. Oh, wow! I exclaimed, and the gorgeous woman in the mirror looked shocked as well. She was beautiful. Dark hair to the shoulders, big wide violet eyes that sparkled, high elegant cheekbones, and full red lips. I couldn't help myself, I smiled, and the woman in the mirror smiled back, eyes twinkling. I stepped back and inspected myself. The figure was curvy, thanks to the padding, the corset, and the enhancements. That's me, I said in wonder, turning and inspecting myself. Is it really me? I kept the female voice as it somehow felt right. Yes, Belinda said gruffly. It's you. She shook her head. I don't believe it, but it's you. Could I get away with it? We all knew what I meant. Could I pull it off at the audition? Could I persuade them I was a woman? Suddenly, it all seemed possible. Mark shook his head. No, he said quietly. What? No, dear, he said, resting his hand on my shoulder. It takes more than dress-ups. Oh, I said, head bowed, blinking. Stop that, Belinda said grumpily. What? You know very well. The pouting, sad face thing. Now, Belinda, Mark said gently. She's a natural, that's all. She doesn't know. You've never done this before? Belinda asked me suspiciously, and I shook my head. No, never. Never. She looked at Mark. Never, dear. I've tried to talk her into it many times, but she wouldn't listen. You can see she's a natural. Belinda studied me. She could pass. It would take a little work, but she could. How long do we have? I think Chris said Sarah believed she had 5 weeks to find someone. Mark looked at me and I nodded, still staring at myself in the mirror. 5 weeks. That will have to do then. If that, Mark said, time is getting away. They'll find someone by then, I said miserably. Not if Lucy Richards calls them and tells them she has an outstanding person who is out of the country and will be back in 4 weeks. Mark said it with glee and I looked at him, shocked. Would Lucy do that? Mark winked. Leave it to me. Do you want to do it, Chris? Belinda asked quietly. Give everything up for 4 weeks? Give what up? Mark said cattily as he sipped champagne. Eating junk food, reading scripts, and getting rejected at auditions? I don't know, I said quietly. Mark suddenly became serious and squatted down so he could look me directly in the eyes. Look, Chris, he said with real affection, look in the mirror. That's you. You have a chance here to do everything you've ever wanted, to walk a West End stage, to read the reviews, to experience it all. It's what you've wanted, isn't it? Yes, I whispered, and the woman in the mirror also whispered yes. You only have to do it once, just once, and then you can let the world, all those critics, know that you not only acted brilliantly as Simone, you acted as a woman acting Simone. My eyes widened at that, and the woman in the mirror looked pretty excited. You think? Chris, Mark said softly, turning my face away from the mirror. I know what I am. I dress up in costumes and mime dancing queen, and I love it. But it's obvious I'm not a woman, that's my whole act. But you, can't you see how stunning you are? I mean, even Kylie Minogue would be jealous. Seriously, you have a gift to act in now, he said, turning my face to the mirror. You also have it. What do you think, Belinda? I asked slowly. Tell me the truth. She ran her fingers through her hair. The scary thing, Chris, is that with a little bit of work and practice, you'd be much better. I know you find that hard to believe, but with things like nails, eyebrows, waxing, you'd be absolutely striking. But, I said shakily, would I be real? You wouldn't be a drag queen, Chrissy, Mark said quietly. You'd be a woman. It could be your greatest performance. Okay, I said softly. What? Belinda and Mark asked in unison. I'll do it. It could be fun, I said with a weak smile as Belinda kissed my cheek. Now, Belinda said, all business. You have to stay here. We will work every day. Stay here. I live upstairs and there's a spare bedroom. You'll live as a woman for the entire time so you're used to it. We'll need money for clothes and things. I hung my head. I'm broke. I'll cover you, Mark said. It's just a loan, my dear. You do that. We're friends, aren't we? Of course I'll do it, Chrissy dear. I can say I'm a friend of. He paused. What name are you going to use? I'll have to tell Lucy a name. I don't know. I could come up with one. I don't think Marilyn Mansfield is quite what we're looking for, Belinda said dryly. Let me think about it, I said quietly, staring at my reflection. I had quite a lot to think about. I moved in with Belinda and began my training. It was full on, and Belinda was a relentless teacher. She was critical of my every step, the way I dressed, moved, and sat. Every time I slipped out of character, including the voice, she corrected me immediately and firmly. There were times when I hated her for it.